hear me? For the best in music, best in entertainment. See in a junior race. So hear this. Breaking bread with the bread man. The bread man.
Hi guys, welcome back to Breaking Bread with Breadman, where we explore different tips and strategies that you could use to thrive, even in the face of adversity. I'm your host, Breadman, and today we're going to dive into one of the essential skills that you need in life, and that's the skill of resilience. Whether it's a personal setback or a professional setback, or even just like the different ups and downs that we all go through in life. Today, we're going to explore different insights and explore different strategies that we can use to bounce back from these situations. Let's get started. Resiliency is the ability to recover quickly from difficulties and be able to adapt well in the face of adversity. Now, in life, we're going to experience different traumas. We're going to experience different tragedies and just different setbacks in life. And these are definite sources of stress in your life. But what we're going to talk about today is not avoiding these stresses. It's how we react and how we respond to these experiences. Now, there's key characteristics that you need to build to be resilient. And let's go over a few of them. Emotional regulation. Have the ability to stay calm during stressful situations. Don't let these situations let you become overwhelmed and then you become emotionally reactive, where you're not thinking about what you're doing. These are the times that we make decisions that we regret later. But if you're in a calm sense of mind in these stressful situations, you're able to think things through, and that's the best state for you to be. Mental flexibility. There's going to be changes in life. These are also definites. So you have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to change mindsets when need be. When you see that there's a definite need for you to change the mindset because what you're experiencing now is beyond your control, and the only way to navigate this is for you to change the way you look at things. Sometimes you have to make that move. Self-confidence. Now, it goes without saying, you have to have self-confidence during these stressful times. Self-confidence is where you actually look in yourself in the way that you know, not that you think, you know that you have the ability to overcome these stressful situations. You know that you have the ability to navigate anything that anybody else has navigated. You know that you have the ability to come out looking shiny as a brand new penny on the other side of this situation. There's always ups and downs, and you realize that there's been a lot of downs in the past, but you've always seen ups after these downs, and there will be an up after this down. So have that self-confidence that you know that you'll make it through this. Optimism. And with that self-confidence, that comes what we're saying about optimism now. You have to think positive about these stressful situations. Like I said, you have to think that you've been through this before. There's always going to be ups and downs in life. And in these situations, you have to be optimistic, knowing that in the previous ups and downs that you've had, when there's a down, there's always an up. And vice versa, but we don't even have to think about it. Just think that no matter how stressful it is right now, there is going to be a silver lining. There is going to be a solution. And when you start thinking like that, that's when you start seeing these solutions. That's what's so funny about it. When you start thinking optimistic, saying, you know what, it's a dark day today, but there are brighter days coming. That's when you start seeing the road to the brighter day. That's when you might meet somebody that just change your whole direction in life, steer you towards what your next up is going to be. Building a resilient mindset. Now, to be resilient, you have to cultivate a certain mindset. Now, here's some strategies that you can use to start building this resilient mindset. You have to accept that change is a natural part of life. These things are always going to happen. There's always going to be change in life, and you need to embrace that. The sooner you embrace that, that's when you can start building resiliency, and you can start noticing that change is also an opportunity for growth. It makes me think of that character in Game of Thrones, Littlefinger, where he always says chaos is a ladder. Chaos is usually why people are afraid of change, because during the time of change, everybody's very up in their emotions, and they're saying, no, why can't it stay the same? Why can't it stay the same? And amidst that chaos, if you have a calm mind and you're resilient, you can see how you can grow during this change. Embrace change as a form of growth. Stop running away from change. And of course, I have to always keep this in, and that's practice gratitude. We always have to be thankful for we have. And when you have that sense where you're thankful, even if, like I said in a few videos back, if you wake up every morning, you think of 3 things that you're thankful for, it keeps you in the mindset where you are focused on the positive things that's going on in your life and not the negative things in your life. Being grateful for what you have is a very good mindset to have, and a very healthy mindset for you to have. It keeps you seeing the blessings also. Because when you're grateful for what you already have, that's when you start seeing things that you can also achieve. And you're seeing that you have the ability to achieve it. Maybe if you were in the mindset you were taking everything for granted, you wouldn't even see this avenue. And probably you might not understand what I'm saying right now, but start being grateful. Start doing what I'm saying. Writing down 3 things that you're grateful for every morning. And start having that mindset, or that positive mindset every day. And you'll start noticing blessings in your life. It's just that easy. It sounds crazy, but it's just that easy. Start being positive. You need to develop a mindset of growth. You need to understand that during these times of changes and during these times of stress, that these are the opportunities that you're going to make it through the stress, and know in your core that you have the ability and you're efficient enough that you can navigate yourself through these stressful times and become a better person for it. Because at the end, you're going to learn something from these stressful times. Start giving yourself that mindset. Anytime I encounter something that's stressful, if I keep calm and I navigate it, I will learn from it that whenever this is coming again, I will foresee it, or I'll be able to navigate it much more efficiently. And while staying positive, you also have to keep that negativity out there. If you find yourself spiraling towards negative thoughts, you need to refrain from those. You need to be mindful enough to catch yourself when you're thinking negatively. For example, thinking negatively, you encounter one of these stressful times, and you encounter change, like in your workplace or something like that, and you automatically said, I can't do this. What are they doing? I can't do this. That's a negative mindset. Stop thinking like that and stop using words like that. In other words, if you encounter some times of difficulty, you look at it and you say, this will be challenging. I'm going to have to work a little harder, but this will be challenging. But I know I have the ability to master this, just like I mastered everything before. I just need to tackle it and find out what it's really about. Right? When you hear yourself speaking those negative words, automatically change them. Start being mindful of changing your vocabulary on how you speak to yourself. We talk a lot about mindset, and mindset is a key part of being resilient. But it's not just mindset. It's also the way you take care of your emotional and physical well-being. Now, here's some strategies that you could also do to help yourself become resilient other than mindset. Start doing self-care activities. Start doing activities that nourish your body and your mind. Exercising, meditating, yoga. These things are also helpful, will help you become resilient, because a lot of times when in these stressful times that I've encountered, meditation helps me a lot. So these physical and emotional well-being strategies are very helpful. As I say, meditation, that's another thing. Start to really look into yourself. Try to meditate about yourself. Really try to recognize what are your triggers. Really try to know your emotional state so that you can start to regulate those things. When you understand your emotions, you're able to navigate your responses and your reactions to stressful situations, if you understand what I'm saying. I said this saying on Instagram a long back where I said that your reactions are impulsive and your responses are calculated. If you want to gain control of your life, practice to respond before you react. And I truly mean that. When you understand yourself, that's when you start being able to respond to stressful situations. And a calculated response is always better than an impulsive reaction. Remember this. You also need to build strong relationships. Make sure that you have a circle around you that is very supportive and you're supportive of them. When you start to build a core circle of friends and family that are supportive of you, that helps during times of stress, especially like we see it in the pandemic. During that time, you really needed to band together. A lot of families were in the house during quarantine by themselves, and during those times, that's how they became resilient. You need a core set of people around you. Be very selective though. Be sure that these people that you handpick deserve to be in your circle. And when you choose that right circle, it'll benefit all participants of the circle. You also should practice mindfulness during stressful times and during times of change. Mindfulness will definitely help you. You being present in the time and seeing exactly where you are and exactly where you stand and what needs to be done is definitely something that helps you be resilient during times of difficulty. You need to also start developing a mindset of problem solving. Don't think that you can't do it. Just think that this will be challenging, but I have the ability to solve this problem. I have the ability to navigate this difficulty. Start developing a mindset that I am a problem solver and there's no problem that I can't solve. You should also learn from experience. Anytime you go through these difficulties or these changes, you need to take a mental note of what you did to come through to the other side, so you don't replicate any mistakes that was made during this time. And that's what the growth comes from. When you learn from these mistakes, you grow to be a better person on the other side of these difficulties. Sometimes we encounter some things and they come from out of left field and they get you all flushed in it. But if you are in a calm set of mind, you could think and say, does this really matter right now? Or is this really gonna matter next year? It's gonna matter in 6 months? Sometimes you look at something that looks so big right now and seems like so urgent right now, and you realize it's not that serious. So always try to be calm when you feel these stressful times coming so that you can think things through and don't over-exaggerate the problem. A resilient community can only produce resilient individuals. So do your part. If it's in times of need or times of difficulty, you can see that this difficulty is really affecting others as you, and you're in a position where you could give some help to some others while not diminishing your own resources. Try to give that back. That helps you mentally, that helps you stay positive, and that even helps you. And sometimes it might even come back to you. Most of the times it does come back to you. You may be in a position later on where you're in need and someone can help you. Not the same person that you helped, and not necessarily, but someone may have seen how you helped in times of need, and now you need it, and they will help you. That will help you be resilient. That's one of the key things. Resiliency in the workplace. A lot of people are in careers and they're in jobs where it's very stressful for them. It's very stressful jobs, and sometimes you need a sense of resiliency in your workplace. And here's some strategies that you could use to be resilient while at work. Try to foster like a positive work environment. Now, if you're a supervisor, it'll be much easier because you can set certain regulations to enforce a positive work environment. But if you're an employee or you're not in a position where you can do simple things to foster this type of work environment. I worked at a job before where my first day there, I noticed that I was working at the front door, and I noticed that everyone that came in, they just had a very solemn look on their face, and then no one said hi to each other, no one said anything. Very rarely you would see a couple people who directly worked with each other would say, hey, good morning, or they would meet up outside and they'd talk and they'll walk in. But then I noticed my co-workers that worked with me, they wouldn't say anything either. So I started saying good morning to everybody, or good day, or good afternoon. And I did that for a day. I did it for 2 days. And by the third day, I noticed that the people that were coming in through the doors, that solemn look that they used to have on their face, now they're actually, before they even open the door, I'm looking through the glass, they're smiling when they see me at the desk, and they're saying, oh, hi Leon, hi, how are you doing? Foster that type of environment in the workplace. That'll help you resilient. That's what I'm talking about. A healthy community, a resilient community fosters resilient participants. So try to cultivate a sense of positivity in your workplace. Now, you need to manage stress in your workplace. If you can identify which parts of your job is the most stressful part, start doing things to manage it. Maybe you need to start really organizing yourself. Maybe you need to take regular breaks. Maybe you need to prioritize certain tasks so that they don't become overwhelming later on. Don't procrastinate on certain things, but just try to find out what is making things stressful and try to come up with different solutions that can help these things become less stressful. Identify the stress and try to navigate it. Now, getting regular feedback from your colleagues is also helpful in navigating these difficulties and these stressful situations in the workplace. Sometimes your colleagues or maybe even your supervisor, they've been in these situations before, and they have developed their own little tips and strategies that they could share with you and help you navigate them. And in that way, you've grown just a little bit. So sometimes just talk to your colleagues, talk to your coworkers. You could also develop some coping mechanisms. You may use coffee as a coping mechanism. Some people had those little stress balls while they're working, and that's their coping mechanisms. Or maybe just take a regular break. Sometimes you may be in a situation where you work in a place where, like you're in a graveyard shift, and it's long hours and it's boring. So maybe a good coping mechanism for a situation like that would be to bring in a crossword puzzle or some kind of time stimulating activity that you could stimulate your mind in these boring times. Identify what is stressful in the job and try to find some kind of coping mechanism that can help you through there, as long as you're staying within the regulations of your workplace. Now, in conclusion, building resilience is a lifelong journey, but one that can really enhance your quality of life. But I believe that if you could cultivate a resilient mindset and really take care of your physical and your emotional well-being using some of the tips and strategies that we've discussed in this video, you'll be able to bounce back from some of these difficulties in life. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Breaking Bread with Breadman, and if you like the episode, please hit me with a like, share, or subscribe, and please leave a comment. Tell us what you've experienced during life where you had to be resilient, and maybe some of your stories that you share can help others. So until next time, continue being resilient and stay positive, and you will be blessed. I'm your host, Breadman. Till the next episode, peace.
Bread man, make myself your life is not a dead man.